marketing over the phone and offering quotes. Let me review the concept of offering quotes over the phone. First of all, your main goal is to just sell the idea that we have the lowest options, sell the idea that we work with 70 different companies, sell the idea that there's no one lower in town than us, sell the idea that whatever they're paying is too much and we have something better. Now, when you're quoting over the phone, your goal is not to go into details, to offer too much information as far as the price. Offering a quote is just to give them something because we're going to focus mainly on service and the information and the knowledge and making the quote realistic. So the quote is just, something basic. We don't even emphasize too much on it simply because we focus on the bigger picture, which is really the knowledge, the experience, the service. But it's very important for you to understand over the phone. You have to give them a quote. You have to, even though we're not going to focus on that, but you have to give them something, because if you don't, they're always going to question. They're going to be curious. They're gonna doubt the options or the information that you gave them. So realistically, you have to give them a quote. Now let me go into details. Now, offering a quote, you really don't have to put the information on the system. You're really not running any information on the system. You're simply giving them an idea. Now, quoting over the phone is very easy. Matter of fact, it's simply to offering a low ball in the office. We kind of use the same concept, but I'll give you the basics of it. For liability, you want to offer $30 to $35. You want to keep it very low, very basic, because you got to remember that they're shopping around, so they're going to obtain other quotes. So you don't want to give them something that's higher than the competition, because they're not going to show up. So liability, $30 to $40, $30 to $35. That's for one vehicle. If you have multiple vehicles, 60 to 65, 65 to 70 max, you're always going to average roughly 30, no more than $40 per vehicle. Now, if you have a special situation, let's say you have a young driver and they tell you, because you're going to ask them for their date of birth, and they seem to be fairly young, like 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, you know for sure is going to be a lot higher than that. So you could increase the quote to $60, $70 a month. It's still going to be a low ball option anyways, but at least you're going to give them something a little bit more than the 30 to 35. But it's very important for you to understand the quote is just simply just to give them an idea of the prices that they could possibly qualify. So you don't have to give them something exact. You don't have to give them something that you obtain through the FSC or the website. You really don't have to run anything. It's just giving them an idea of the options that we have available. You're selling the idea that we have something as low as 30 to 35. And of course, you're going to add more information and you're going to let them know they still need to show up to the office so we could fully run their information and determine exactly what other discounts they may qualify for. So don't worry, $30 to $35, a basic LB option is just simply to give them an idea of the options that we have available. So once again, 30 to 35, one vehicle for liability, 60 to 65, obviously for two vehicles. Now, if you're going to add uninsured motorist, for instance, just add an additional $3 to $5. So increase it from 30 to 35 to 40 to 45. Two vehicles from 60 to 70, maybe 70 to 75. Just increase it a little bit. Either way, it's just a quote. We're not going to focus on that. We're going to sell the idea that those are the lowest rates that we have available. They could possibly qualify for that, but we're not going to focus on really setting up the appointment based on the price. We're going to focus based on the information, the knowledge, the experience, the service, everything else besides the quote. Now, for a full coverage vehicle, you're always going to give them roughly $90 to $100, $100 to $110, depending on the type of vehicle, the year, make, and model. But you could go as low as 80 to 85. I mean, these quotes are most likely still going to be a low ball as long as you don't increase the quote more than 100, 110. I think that would be the max, because someone else is going to give them, something similar or lower, And you don't want to take a chance on them going elsewhere before coming to us. We want to make sure they come to us first. So once again, for full coverage, just simply anywhere from $80 to $100 within that range. There's no right or wrong. So if you give them 80 to 85 or you give them 90 to 100, I mean, it's okay. There's no specific mandatory exact approximate that you have to offer. And either way, once again, most likely still going to be a low ball. Now, if you have multiple vehicles, one full coverage, one liability, then just simply combine both of them, 80 to 90, 30 to 35. So you give them a good 120 to 130 for two vehicles, one vehicle liability, one vehicle full coverage. So it's pretty basic. The quoting system is very, very basic. All you have to understand is just keep it within those ranges and you should be fine. Now, if you have a situation where you ask and they tell you, look, I'm paying $200 for one vehicle full coverage, don't give them the $80 to $90 because it's not going to be realistic. They're not going to believe you because it's too much of a gap. And what if they've been shopping around? What if they've been paying those $200 for like 12 months or for 2 years, for example? So they know the $80 to $90 is going to be incorrect. So they're not going to trust you. Even if they set up an appointment, they're not showing up. So the rule that I have, always make it a good $40 to $50, $60 lower. So if they're paying $200, I would give them $140 to $145 or $140 to $150. That's a good $50. We could elaborate on the savings of $50, $60, which will be calculated to a good $600 to $700 a year. So we could close them, we could convince them on setting up an appointment based on that quantity that they're going to save. But keep in mind, don't give them the actual 80 to 90 if they're paying a lot more than the approximate. Always give them a good $40 to $60 lower if they have insurance. Now, if they don't have insurance, then it doesn't really matter because you're offering a quote and they currently don't have insurance. But if they have insurance, they're always going to compare what they have. And if it's too good to be true, they may not walk in, even if they set up an appointment. So quoting is very basic, very simple. Liability, 30 to 35. With uninsured motorists, add an additional $5. Multiple vehicles, multiply times 2, so that's a good $60 to $65, $60 to $70. With uninsured motorists, 70 to 75. Full coverage, anywhere from 80 to 100. Multiple vehicles, one liability, one full coverage, 120 to 130. Keep it basic. If they emphasize on coverages or tickets, don't go into details too much. Do not discuss the details of, what tickets do you have, how many accidents, what happened on the accident, what coverages, specifically like the limits or the deductible. Keep it very basic. I mean, we're going to offer, if it's liability, it's liability. We're not going to go into details as far as coverages or the limits of the coverages. Deductibles, we're not talking about deductibles unless they actually specifically tell us. And if they do, just quote them the same way and just tell them that it's including whatever they're telling us. Or if it has to do with tickets, then just tell them, look, this is just basic. Since you're telling me you have a couple tickets, we're going to have to run the information in the office because every violation, every ticket has a violation code. So every code may be different. Even if it's a speeding ticket, it just depends on where the ticket, what type of speeding ticket. Was it over, the 35 school zone? Was it over, 45? Was it, on the highway over 85? What type of speeding ticket was it? So you tell them, look, since every violation, every ticket has different levels of the violation, we're gonna have to run it in the office. But don't worry, I'm actually including that ticket. But don't go into details as far as asking them. Just educate them. Tell them, look, we're gonna run the information to get the details of the ticket, but we'll do that in the office. Don't worry. Either way, we're gonna help you. So just brush it off and go into the next question or the next topic.